going to record this because there's some good information that I think other members will want to see, so that we're going to record it and then post it up on the BNA website. If you would prefer that your camera might not show up on video, you can go ahead and turn that off or and mute yourself. But we just want to make sure that everyone is aware that we are going to record this. I'm going to put the quarterly meeting agenda in the chat, so everyone should have that now. On tonight's agenda, committee updates. Trudy Paulson and Officer Trudy Paulson and Brent Millis will give an update on crime stats, which I think Brent has posted in the chat also. So if you have those, if you can't see them, let me know and I can repost them. We have Supervisor Angela Connolly on the call. I think I saw her join. She's going to give an update kind of on an annual what's going on in the county, and then I think we have Randy on to talk about some assessment questions or answer any questions. And then I believe we're going to finish up with a discussion about Invest DSM, which is a great program, kind of working in the, I'm going to call it the southwest corner of Beaverdale. It's also kind of the Waveland Park neighborhood. It's a conglomeration of our neighborhoods, but also throughout the city. And I don't see the speaker on that topic yet. So when she gets here, we'll make sure that we cover that. And then I have not seen Bill Gray on yet, but just toward the end of the agenda, after maybe our speakers, I did just note to him earlier today that if there are any questions about the Fairway project and kind of the status of that, he would be available to answer any questions. So to get started with committee reports, I'll just do a quick update from kind of what the board has been up to. The first thing that I would say is the Beaverdale Park project. It's a master planning project that's underway. Is going well. You know, it's been slowed up a little bit through the analysis. The lead planner on it has brought some concerns to the BNA board about the shelter located in the back of the park. He sent over some pictures today that, you know, it's in a condition that he's kind of, their Parks Department's kind of concerned about. And the board, he's requested the board take a look at it and make a recommendation on how to move forward as far as the master planning process goes. So once we have more information about reservation rates, number of incidents at the shelter location, we'll probably reach out and get some very quick feedback via Facebook on kind of what's everybody's impression about the direction we should take on that shelter. Additionally, I know that he's trying to get some initial concepts based on the analysis and the survey that was completed, ready for our June BNA board meeting. And then hopefully we'll be able to roll those out to the public and get everyone in the park to kind of observe what those concepts are and get a feel for how that could be laid out and updated in the future. So good things coming on that. Quick note, Beaverdale Farmers Market is back this year. It's going to be at the Franklin Junior High, similar to last year. The BNA will have a booth, so that's exciting news. We'll be there. So come check us out, check out merchandise, renew your membership if you need to, or just, you know, stop by and say hi. Two other items that will also be in the sidewalk, the next sidewalk edition. The first one is we're still looking for donations, or still taking donations for a tree for Mary Maloney. So if you'd like to make a donation, you can send that to the BNA. And then in Fall Fest is going to have a little write-up in there. They are still planning on having the event, is what it says. Might just be a scaled down version. Also in there, they're requesting, you know, if anyone's interested in joining the board or volunteering for Fall Fest, to please contact them and join in and help out. Those are kind of my updates from the board perspective. Are there any questions that I can maybe answer?
Marcus, what's our fundraising goal for the tree for Mary?
That is a good question, and I think I will ask Nancy. Nancy, do you know what trees usually cost from the city?
But typically, we usually try and get donations as much as we can, and then BNA has a tree fund where we offer to match whatever is raised to go toward the tree. So, you know, we can usually get a tree in place for around $250. So half of that would be ideal, would be a good goal to have. But if we get more than that, that'd be great too.
Okay, thanks.
Nancy, while you're unmuted, do you want to give an update on beautification?
Sure. Actually, as long as we're talking about trees, we did just recently plant a tree in the Urbandale Avenue median. Mary Lou Bradley's family had asked to plant a tree in her honor while she's still with us so that she can enjoy it. So it was planted very close to where her home is. And then tomorrow we have a second tree planting in Ashby Park. Another Beaverdale resident, Tim Lettingham, donated money to plant a tree specifically in Ashby Park because he felt like it had suffered a great deal in the derecho. And unfortunately, he's already moved away. He moved out of state as of Friday, so we weren't able to get it in the ground quite soon enough for him to see it, but I promised him a picture. So we're planting it tomorrow with the help of the city. We are also getting ready to plant flowers. We have pickup at the city greenhouse scheduled for Friday. We're hoping it's not raining on us at the time so that we can start putting them in the ground right away. But if it is raining, we will just delay as long as we need to and set up a new time. We have flowers for Ashby, Beaverdale, and Westchester Park signs, and also some flowers for the Palm Avenue and Bel Air Avenue islands. So we will be planting in all those areas. We're always welcome to have extra hands. So if you're interested in doing that, let me know. And we are waiting to see when construction is going to occur at the end of the Urbandale Avenue median at 34th Street. That is a bed that we have planted in the past with flowers, but we're told that that would be going away, that'd be being removed. So we're waiting to see when that is going to happen. It's supposed to happen at some point this season. We are also working on our garden walk preparations. We have scheduled our garden walk for June 19th. We have 7 gardens, and we have decided to limit sales to 400 tickets. The tickets will be available at 5 Beaverdale businesses. Beaverdale Books, Beaverdale Confections, Backcountry Outfitters, Ace Hardware, Grounds for Celebration. And is that 5? I think that's all. The advanced tickets will be $8 each. And if for some reason all of those tickets end up being sold in advance, we will not have any more tickets to be sold on the day of. So anybody who really wants to go, I would recommend that you buy them when they become available. We're hoping to have them available June 1st. What else? That's all. I think that's all I have at the present moment. Let me know if there's any questions.
Questions for Nancy? All right,
Thank you.
Nancy, thank you so much. A lot going on, so it's exciting. Dawn, do you have any updates for public affairs?
Yeah. I'll turn my camera on so you can see my shiny head. The only thing I wanted to talk about was Des Moines Mega Scrub. We are helping, Beaverdale is helping out with the one that is going to be this Saturday at Polk County River Place. That's at 2309 Euclid. This is a event that Des Moines is doing in various areas. It's a good chance for residents to get rid of yard waste or any house debris. It's been going on for several years. We could certainly still use some volunteers if anyone is available this Saturday. We have 2 shifts, 7:30 to 10:30, and we have a shift from 9:30 to 1:30. We have 5 people currently signed up for the early shift, 4 signed up for the afternoon or the later shift. And we'd like to get about 10 per shift if possible. We are not the only neighborhood association for this one. We're partnering with River Bend and Lower Beaver, for instance. So if you're available and would like to help out, we'd love to have you. We did put a sign up out on the BNA website, and I'm just going to put in the chat where that is if you're interested in signing up. Also, if you have any questions about that, I will put my email out there in the chat, and you can certainly get a hold of me if you have any questions about it. That's all I've got.
Don, it is my understanding that you cannot take yard waste to the River Place location, that if you have yard waste, it has to go to the transfer station.
Okay. Yeah, I was just going off of what we had down from the notes. So thank you, Nancy, for bringing that up. I guess it's just debris.
Usually tires, hazardous waste, I believe, is going to be there.
Yes. Tires, hazardous waste, yep, appliances.
And possibly a shredder.
I believe there is usually a shredder there too. Thank you, Nancy.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for Don? All right. Next up on the agenda, we had Officer Trudy Paulson and Brent Millis to talk about crime stats. And again, if you can't see the crime stats, they're in the chat, or we can update those or reinsert those so that everyone has those.
Thank you, Marcus. Officer Trudy Paulson here. So we've had 11 burglaries in the last quarter, 6 assaults, 8 thefts, 5 motor vehicle thefts, and 2 robberies. And I like to hit on the robberies. So there was a robbery at the Pizza Hut at 4212 Douglas, where somebody came in, robbed him at gunpoint. That case is still ongoing. And then at the Get and Go, there was a robbery, 2930 Hickman. So a man came inside. He had a gun, or displayed a gun. Basically ordered the cashier to give all the money. She did. That case is also still open for investigation. I guess I would say if there's anything that's happening in the neighborhood that you're concerned about, or my email, you can always contact me by email or by phone if you want more specifics, if something is happening. So
if I might add quick, this is Brent. Sorry, my camera isn't working on my laptop. Otherwise, you can just see me in my ski gear. The stats that Trudy was that put together she's got it distributed on a map. If you take a look at that, and if you see incidents on your street, this is the time to review your neighborhood watch, program. And if you have incidents and you need help and you want to figure out how to strengthen it, get a hold of me. And you can do that by just going to the Beaverdale website, and you can go to the contact us page and send a message, because all the messages come to me. And we can then, Officer Paulson and I can, chit chat with you and figure out, what we can do to strengthen this. Another couple of other topic, I've been kind of bugging Officer Paulson about maybe holding like a quarterly, like kind of coffee talk, where we maybe meet for an hour at like Grounds for Celebration. You come with your questions about the police, trying to figure out, do our part with regards to, the city is trying to figure out, de-escalation tactics right now to kind of improve police relations, trying to figure out how can we help on our end. So stay tuned for something like that. I will also make a quick comment about the get and go stuff. It was about a couple weeks ago, myself, Jay Kozel, Councilman Bill Gray, we met with the city legal department to kind of get a lowdown of Get and Go. For those that don't know, Get and Go is one of the most robbed companies in the metro, and the store located at 4900 Urbandale is like the number one store robbed. In the last 5 years, it's been robbed 18 times, and across all their locations, they're winning with how many robberies they have compared to their competitors. And so we wanted to kind of get a, kind of a discussion with legal. They're frustrated as well. It's a situation where, Get and Go is really a victim themselves. And so there's not a whole lot that the city can do. But we wanted to have that conversation. My personal concern is the city could be liable for any type of injuries or deaths, because we issue a liquor license. City legal is very confident that we would not be, but we had that conversation. If anybody has any further questions about that, it's just kind of one of those situations we're up against as far as what we can do with the Get and Go stuff. So again, if you have any questions, reach out. We'll definitely help you out. So thanks.
Hey, Brent, this is Bill. I mean, you're right. We pushed this out as far as we possibly could. And legally, these guys have more rights than we do. That's the frustrating thing. We have an opportunity here that we could work together with them. And we've been trying to do that for about the last 4 to 5 years. And we still end up in the same position we're in right now. I don't know. We've done everything we could. Brent, your job was great. You carried this thing forward, but good grief. It just, you heard legals. They said we can't do anything.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've done everything on our part. Remember, we tried to get organized, like maybe some gatherings, some balloon fest or something that they don't want to do anything. Just frustrating.
So keep that in mind when, you folks out there, you have a choice of where you spend your money. And so if this is important to you, you can make whatever informed decision that you need to. But that's where it is. Again, if you have any questions, reach out.
All right. Thank you, Brent. Thank you, Trudy. Again, those crime stats are in the chat if anyone is looking for those. Next up on the agenda, we have Polk County Supervisor Angela Connolly.
Thanks, Marcus. I think what I'm going to do, because I know Randy's had a very long day today and you want to talk about all the assessments, I'm going to go ahead. I'll give my update next after Randy speaks about the assessments. I know he put something, he provided something in the sidewalk.
Yep.
So if you have specific questions, or he can just go ahead and talk about, how we determine the market value of your home through the assessment process, the rollback, or whatever you want to talk about. But Randy, I'm going to give you the floor because I know you've had a long day with the assessment appeals. And then I'll give the county update.
Thank you, Angela. Yeah, I could just open it up for questions. I know all of you know that 2021 is a reassessment year. In Iowa, assessors have to reassess all property in their jurisdiction every 2 years to bring. And basically, what happens since our last reassessment in 2019, most of you, your assessments have been frozen unless you made a change to your property. So over that 2-year period, the assessment doesn't move, but the market fluctuates up and down. And our job is then to get your assessments back in tune with current market value. And some properties go up, some properties go down in that process. So on March 30th, we mailed out about 184,000 assessment notices to Polk County citizens that own property. During the month of April, you could file a protest with our office to appeal that process or appeal that assessment. The property tax is the only tax that you have a right to appeal the basis of that tax. And of course, that basis begins with our assessment. You can't do that with the sales tax or income tax, but you can with the property tax. So April 2nd through April 30th was the protest filing period. And then we got to wait an extra week or so for the mail to come in, as long as you have it postmarked by April 30th. Right now we have about 5,040 protests, which is really light. You know, I was anticipating 7,000 or 8,000. 2 years ago, we had 7,800. So kind of surprising the way we raised values during the pandemic. We only have about 5,000 protests. So that's kind of surprising to us. So that's kind of where my office is right now. The Board of Review started May 3rd. And since then, there are oral hearings every day. We'll be doing that during the rest of May and probably most of June. Hopefully we'll get done by the end of June. So that's kind of the process we're in. So I'll be glad to answer any questions anybody has.
Randy, just a comment for me. This is Adam Plague. I just want to give my compliments to your office's good work. You know, Bob Powers, I've worked with in the past, and other staff, all been very professional and very helpful. So I know you guys have a tough job, and just want to thank you for your work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I get compliments like that all the time, which makes me feel really good. I have a great staff working for me. You can contact my office throughout the year, not only during the month of April when the protest filing time is, but if you have issues with your assessment, feel free to reach out to my office at any time during the year. We'll come out and look at it and try to get it addressed for you.
Randy, this is Dave Buzik. I would ask you a question. What's the process? Are you sending assessors out to look, or is it like you're at $100 today, so you're at $102 tomorrow?
No, what we do, we have a basic cost model that we use for residential property. It's from a cost manual that's published by the Department of Revenue. That assessors in Iowa were required to use that manual. So what we'll do is run a basic cost estimate using judgment calls like the quality of construction, the condition of the property for its age, that kind of stuff. Then we'll compare that basic cost estimate to what the property is actually selling for. You know, so we look in the rear view mirror. We go back and look at the 2020 sales and compare those sale prices to what the basic cost estimate gives us. And we have to adjust that cost estimate up to what the properties are selling for. So it's really driven by sales in your area. You know, if you look around and follow the real estate market, anybody that's done that knows we're in an extremely hot seller's market, and we have been for several years now, and we're continuing. Even in 2021, it's still very hot seller's market. So those sale prices going up, compare that to our basic cost estimate, then we have to adjust our cost to the market. So that's kind of a simple explanation of how we do it.
Thank you.
And I think I want to clarify. I know a lot of people think that, you know, when Randy has those assessments, we generate significant dollars because of those high assessments. And we do generate additional dollars, but we also maintain that constant levy rate from one year to the next, except when, you know, the voters decide whether it's the conservation levy, we've increased it by a bond, or when we built the courthouse, there was a bond referendum for that. That's the only time the two levy rates were increased. So when those reassessments do come in significantly on tax base, we usually spend that money, and what we've done in the past, and particularly this year, we have had significant financial impacts because of COVID. We've increased our efforts on housing evictions. We've spent our money on the fairground shelter and hotels for the homeless population. We've had a lot of unanticipated expenses for the Iowa Event Center and the hotel. They've lost several $1 million because of the pandemic. Interest rate alone, we lost $3 million. That's no surprise. We've had delayed tax receipts over $2 million. So we're trying to find creative ways to help our mental health funding. So we're putting $4 million out of our general fund into mental health funding this year. This is our last year without, and we have a battle at the state right now, trying to get them to allow us to do that from here on out, that we can put money from our general fund into the mental health fund permanently, because we're having such a shortfall, particularly when we're going to start a mental health, children's mental health July 1st, which we're really excited about, but that didn't come with any money, of course. And we're also hoping to start a sobering center. So we're always looking for creative ways to spend and protect our constituents. So when people talk about, lowering that rate, we're not spending it frivolously. We're trying to be financially fiscal and responsible with your tax dollars.
Yeah, and I put in that article for the sidewalk that if you're really concerned about your property taxes increasing, to get involved and start participating in the budget process for all the local government entities, the taxing authorities, your school, your city, the county, Broadlands, Area 11, the assessor. I mean, we all have public hearings on our budgets where the public is welcome to come in and comment on. And I think Angela will back me up. Very, very rarely will the public come to my budget hearing and comment on my budget. And I think that's pretty common across all the local taxing entities. So I would strongly encourage you to get involved and participate in those budget processes. That's really where your taxes, magnitude of the tax you're going to pay on these new assessments, that's where it's going to be determined.
Right. This year alone, we're hopefully going to be opening up a new patrol headquarters by fall, a new Ankeny Senior Center with partnerships with Ankeny, the city government, but also our new senior center out there. And then we're also, we've outgrown the morgue out at Broadlands, and they would like us to find a new spot. So we're looking for building either a new building or retrofitting an existing building for our new morgue. So that'll be some of the new capital projects that we'll be undertaking this year too with those dollars. And hopefully we don't have to bond for that. We can use either cash reserves. So that's another way that we use our money from the general fund.
When are your budget meetings that you guys mentioned? Are you guys on a fiscal year or
Yes.
calendar year?
Yep. We start looking at it in October, and then we usually have our hearings January, February, and March.
That's the same with me. January and February, I have to have mine certified by March 15th. I think county, your deadline's probably a little bit farther out than mine, but in the schools, I think they probably go out the farthest. I guess I'm not sure about that, but.
Great. Any other questions for Randy?
I'd just like to say thanks to Randy for taking the time out of a busy schedule to put together that article in the sidewalk for us. It really, I know you all read the sidewalk cover to cover every edition, but that one's definitely worth seeking out because it's kind of a great down and dirty Q&A about the process. It was very enlightening and particularly on a topic around which there's much confusion. So I'd definitely encourage everybody to seek that out. And thanks again, Randy, for taking the time to put that together for us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Randy, for coming tonight.
You're welcome. Thanks for
Yeah,
inviting me.
thank you.
Okay, well, I'll be quick too, because I know you have other things to talk about. I'll just give you a quick update on COVID, which seems to be what I talk about daily. We're monitoring our progress towards potential, what we call community immunity, not herd immunity, but community immunity in Polk County. And we, to reach that, we need approximately 70% or more of Polk County residents. And that means we got to have at least 350,000 residents to get vaccinated. So we're working really hard to get there. People are really hesitant right now to get that second shot. We just did another campaign ad about that, and I just sent some talking points to a couple other neighborhoods that they're going to put in their newsletter about the importance of getting that second shot and what it means and some of the benefits you would get if, you know, to travel and you don't have to quarantine, just to kind of give them that extra nudge to continue to get that second shot. It's important to, for some reason, people think that that one shot's enough, but it's not. You really need to get that second shot. So we're really working hard to get that. We got great news about the youth in Polk County are going to be able to be eligible from 12 to 15 to get that shot. So we're working with school superintendents, nurses, athletic directors to encourage our youth to get vaccinated. Drake University will be working with schools during the summer to have clinics for our youth and families at school sites. So they're going to help us out and partner again. We're also prioritizing our underserved and minority communities still and encourage vaccinations. We have a program called Train the Trainer. We go out and just this past week, we're working with the African community, and we had a couple hundred folks get vaccinated. It helps to have those people in the same room with us for translation. And when they get vaccinated, their leaders, they come with us to get vaccinated. It really makes it a lot easier then for their community to do the same. It seems to work really well for us. It's been very successful, and they go out and, you know, have the same conversation. So that seems to be very helpful. And we've got a great campaign going now on just trying to get everybody to recognize that we still are in a pandemic and we still have to take precautions, and we need to get everybody to get that vaccine in their arms. So mental health nationwide, you know, COVID has had a staggering impact on mental health issues. We're seeing 3 times the number of adults who are experiencing depression, anxiety. Children are suffering from mental health. The numbers are really staggering right now. We are creating a children's mental health system. We're going to start that and roll that out July 1st. We're really excited about it. We've got an RFP process out right now. We'll have that back the end of May. We're partnering with Broadlands. The city of Des Moines is helping us out with the mobile crisis and getting us help with their sales tax dollars that they promised that they were going to do. They'll help us fund a couple clinicians and some work with the mobile crisis team when they go out, just like the adults, but this will be for children. So that's going to be a whole full continuum of care for kids. That's something that we've never had before, that is well needed in our community. And we can't wait to get that started. Our senior centers, our seniors have really wanted to get back to our community centers, and it's been really difficult on them. You know, this drive-by situation that we've had, we haven't stopped giving them meals every day because they've been able to drive up and get them, but they've really missed the socialization. They haven't been able to exercise and come in and play bridge and do all the things that they're normally wanting to do. So we thought we had a plan that if they were vaccinated, we were going to open up the centers on June 1st. And then under the governor's wisdom, she said that we can't show proof of vaccinations, of course. So, which just totally blows me away. But a lot of things she's done lately has totally blown me away. We're going to open up anyway, and we're going to encourage that when they come, they are vaccinated, and we're going to try to separate them as much as we can. My phone we sent out a flyer about that. And of course, most of them are mad because they don't want to come unless people are vaccinated. So I don't know if they'll come or not. We're going to try it and see what happens. Some are anxious to come. They're going to sit with people that have been vaccinated, and we're going to do the best we can. And we're just going to play it by ear and see what happens. They really want to come, and they are deserving to. They need to socialize. They want to be out of the house. They've been cooped up for 15 months. So we're going to just do the best we can on it. So stay tuned for that. The Iowa Event Center I mentioned before, they're starting to pick up business. Justin Bieber got announced. Woohoo! We're having small conventions. So we're starting little bits of getting normal. There's a little bit of concerts that have been announced. We've had a little conventions. I just think that our recovery and return to the events we're getting booked, particularly for sporting events. We're kind of like the sporting event mecca of the world, with volleyball. We had a lot of those, basketball, wrestling. They were very limited, but it worked. So I'm thankful for that. We did social distancing and all of that, masks. Instead of, 15,000, we only had 5,000 in the arena, but they were happy to have them anyway. This last Friday, we had the opening of the largest skate park in the country, which was very, very exciting. That was the only ribbon cutting that I ever attended. There were over 300 people, mostly kids, obviously. But they were really, really excited about it. Now it's shut down this week because the Dew Tour, which is an Olympic trial that will be coming May 20th, but they're already here setting up for this event, which is unbelievable. It's like the stars were aligned. We built this park, and now we've got the biggest, largest event ever. This will be international and national news coverage for little old Des Moines, Iowa, with over 300 participants of Olympians trying to make it to the big show. So we are really excited about that. It's just a great thing for Des Moines, and it's a perfect setting right next to the river someday to be hopefully next to the water trails. And I just couldn't be prouder of all the collaboration that took place between the city, the county, and a lot of public that went into this. So Des Moines is going to shine here in another couple of weeks, and it's going to be a great thing. Now, I know that I mentioned water trails, and I think next week or the week after, we're going to be naming and unveiling a new name and logo for the water trails. We're in the completion of a governance model that will oversee the long term of this project. And when I talk about a game changer for Des Moines and Central Iowa, this will certainly be one of the best things that ever happens to Central Iowa, for sure. It will help with workforce, retention of work. The people around here, the businesses are so excited that they will be able to brag about why you want to move to Des Moines, Iowa and Central Iowa. This will be just the greatest thing that will ever happen to us. I just hope I see it in my lifetime. But I'm sure I will, because the fundraising efforts have just been phenomenal. And like I said, we're ready to do the governance model here. I think it has to be done by July 1st to meet the DOT guidelines, because we did receive a $50 million grant from the federal government, and we're continuing to apply. And then one plug about DART I want to talk about is we just approved 75 new bus shelters over the next 3 years. There's going to be a couple by Drake, and then one by the Roosevelt Shopping Center that should be up pretty quick. And these aren't just your normal, not good looking bus shelters. These are going to be really artsy, and you're going to enjoy them, and they're going to be fun looking. I'm really excited about this process of how we put these together for the bus shelters. These are going to be like really cool bus shelters, and they're going to be something that, you know, that is also going to keep you out of the elements, and it'll be great for our community. So with that, make sure everybody gets their shot. I want everybody to get their shot. Keep telling everybody that. We want to get to the community immunity. That's the new term I'm using.
I like it. Any questions for Angela?
I do have one, Angela. It's Vanessa. I logged on briefly to the internet today and saw that our governor turned down unemployment benefits from the federal government. And I had to log back off because I have this paralyzing fear she's going to turn down assistance for local government and schools. Am I being paranoid, or is that something that y'all are worried about too?
Yeah. You know, we have been helping as much as we can as local government. When I talk about, we helped over 1,200 families from being homeless at the start of the pandemic. We're helping with, still helping with rent assistance, utilities, food assistance. But, you know, someday the money's going to run out. Now, I know the money from the federal government is coming down, and we meet once a week as staff trying to figure out this big chunk of money. And I don't know why the state government can't do the same thing. You know, we got to look at it as a long-term plan. We're not just going to give it away to everybody, you know, and you just can't, you know, keep helping people. This has to be a whole continuum of care. And we want to make it long-term, big projects that really help the community as a whole. So it has to be strategic. You know, I know she's thinking, I'm assuming she's thinking that, you know, you want to stop the unemployment benefits because people aren't working, or you want to stop rent assistance because they're just staying home being lazy. Well, you know, that's not it. I've seen those people. When you go to the courthouse and you saw the people that have not had a job, they've got 4 kids, and this is the first time they've never worked. They've always worked, but for their jobs have been shut down. These are service workers. If you look at the hotels, the restaurants, the convention business, I know they're not working because there's no business. So these are the people that are suffering. So when everybody says there's no jobs, there is no jobs because there's no business. And so I don't know what she's thinking when she's cold-hearted. That's what she is. I'm sorry to say that, but I just can't see it any other way. And why you give that money back without thinking strategically what we can do with it. I mean, the mental health system alone needs help. Our numbers are 3 times what they were 6 months ago. The suicides, every week I get on the line with the emergency management. Now we're every 2 weeks. Our death rates have increased, but the Dr. Akers, our medical examiner guy, he says that a lot of those are suicides, and they're by kids because they're depressed, the anxiety. Now those numbers have decreased a little bit because COVID's going down some. Our positivity rate is down a lot. Our hospitalizations are steady and they're down. But pandemic's not over. I'm scared to death what's going to happen in the fall and in the winter when everybody thinks, you know, it's gone, and I just, you know, and the variant might come. I don't know, but I don't think it's right that we just, you know, are going to wipe it out and think it's gone, and we're just going to throw that money back that we don't need it. We do need it, but you just can't just give it away lightly either. You got to be strategic about it, and you got to figure out exactly what the long-term need is. I just don't understand why she doesn't want to do that, and then not give it to the schools. Why wouldn't you want to give it to the schools? They're crippled. They are absolutely crippled. Okay, sorry. Oh God, shouldn't ask me that question.
Angela, this is
I'm sorry, Angela. I feel the same way.
Jay, do you want to go? You have a question?
Yeah, Angela, this is Jay Kozel. I've been seeing some, with regard to vaccinations, I've been seeing some stories from across the country with sort of creative efforts at increasing the vaccination rate. Things like shot and chaser programs where you have breweries that are offering free beer for people who come in and get a vaccination, which is my creative way of asking, is there a role for the business community to be playing that you'd like to see, or that somebody needs to spearhead? I'm wondering if there's an effort that can be made along that track that runs parallel to the efforts you all are making at the county and city government levels.
Well, I don't think the government can give away free beer, but I did talk to Greg Edwards today because I saw in New York where people were lined up because the New York tourism were giving away tickets to like Broadway shows and the museums, and people were lined up to get shots in arms to get these tickets. So I'm not sure we could do something with tourism, but we're trying to come up with creative ways to make it so that it's worth your while to get a shot in your arm. And, you know, I think it's great that the Cubs games does it. Valley Junction has a mobile Hy-Vee, you know, vaccination clinic out. Farmers Market had it, but you have to draw them in. Now we're at a point where you got to give them something because, you know, people just don't think it's necessary anymore because, you know, we're not talking about hospitalizations, people dying. People are dying, and we still have people in the hospital, and we still have COVID. So until we reach this number, we got a long ways to go to get to 350,000 people to get that 70%. And, you know, we want to get there in Polk County. I don't want to be facing this in the fall. We want to get there. So Jay, I think if the business community could come up with something brilliant, we'll make sure we get the vaccines.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Angela, this is Adam. I have a question for you, and thanks for all the great information. And I might get some of the details wrong here, but I'd heard about a project on Mulhay Road, just outside of Beaverdale, just south by 80, that would be a very large, I think it was transient housing. I was curious if that project was moving forward. I think there was board of supervisor money involved in it. And then I guess I was just curious about the size of it. Obviously a very needed project, but it seemed very large, I guess, for a concentrated project.
Well, there was talk, I think it was the where the roadway in is next to the interstate on Mulhay Road. It was an Anawim project. It was an Anawim project.
Yeah.
And there was no board of supervisors money in it, county money in it, because the project never went anywhere. I was supportive of it, but they couldn't get that land pulled off because the bar next to it that's been closed for a while, they wanted that too to have a program where they would have the folks work at and train, but they couldn't get that done and bought, so they didn't want to do it. So now they're looking at another site. Where is that site? It's another hotel somewhere. I think it's the might be, is there a Quality Inn on Douglas?
That's coming to my mind.
There's something on Douglas, an old hotel on Douglas, maybe?
Yeah, you're over there. You're thinking kind of just east of Merle Hay. That's when Coleman was always on top of. It's been kind of like a transient place for quite a while. I think that's one you're talking about.
Across from the old, used to be an old Pizza Hut across the street, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Yeah, it's not in very good shape, but
Right.
I went there during high school, or, you know, when you do those graduation walks. Oh my God. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think that's the place maybe that they're looking at right now. I don't know, but I'm telling you, if it's an Anawim project, they do awesome work because it's not really transient. It's a permanent type housing. You know, you stay there for a couple years. It's a whole continuum of care. The people live there on site, that they watch the folks. You get all kinds of training. You get help of all kinds. So it's not a homeless type population at all. it's a good program. If I trust anybody, I trust Anuim. Now, I can't swear that that's where it's going to be, but I know he's still looking for a site.
Thanks for the update.
You bet.
All
And
right.
I would talk more about Invest DSM, but either Chris Civitat or Amber's going to talk about it. And it is an awesome program that Polk County and the city of Des Moines is involved in. That's another example of a great collaboration and $5 million that we invested through our budget to do this program.
All right, that's a great segue. Supervisor Conley, thank you for stopping by and providing all the information. We'll kick it over to Amber Lynch, who is the Executive Director of Invest DSM.
And she
All right.
rocks.
Well, thank you for the endorsement there, Angela. I really appreciate it. Supervisor Connolly is on our board, so she might be a little bit biased. Good evening, everybody. I'm Amber Lynch. I'm with Invest DSM. We're a relatively new nonprofit. We were put together a little less than 2 years ago now by the city of Des Moines and Polk County. We grew out of the city's neighborhood revitalization program. I was a planner in that program for a number of years before moving over into this role. And we have 4 neighborhoods in Des Moines that we are serving currently. And one of them is part of the Beaverdale neighborhood. So I'm going to pop up a map really quick just because for me, oh, Marcus, can you make it so that I can put a map on the screen? If not, I'll just tell you the boundaries. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're just in the southern portion of the Beaverdale neighborhood, and then our Franklin area kind of shares a northern section of Waveland Park as well. So we're from Hickman on the north down to University on the south, and then 48th Street on the west over to Beaver and 41st Street on the east. So we've got about 1,000 homes in that area, 900 to 1,000 homes, somewhere around in there. And we rolled out programs right around a year ago. And there's just a couple that I wanted to talk about tonight, just to make sure that everybody's aware of some of the things that we're offering. So our purpose is really strengthening neighborhoods, making sure that some of the older homes in Des Moines neighborhoods remain competitive in the marketplace over the long run, good quality places for all of you to live in, and that the neighborhoods continue to be attractive and desirable over time. So one of the ways that we are doing that is through some direct grant dollars to homeowners. And we have 2 different programs available. One kind of maybe the entry level program is called our Block Challenge Grant. And this was one that the Franklin area took great advantage of last year. We had in the Franklin area alone, we had, let's see, about 140 participants in that Block Challenge program. And what it is it's intended for exterior improvements to your home. So think curb appeal type projects. It could be anything from landscaping to repainting the exterior of your house, replacing your driveway, putting on a new roof. And we will match the property owner dollar for dollar up to $2,500. The catch to it is that we ask neighbors to apply together as a team from the same block. So we need to have a team of at least 5 neighbors that can see each other from one another's front doors in order to grant those funds. We had just 7 teams from Franklin last year with about 140 participants. So there wasn't a lot of difficulty in organizing those teams, but our staff is also very willing to help with that too. So the way that it works is once the team applies, everybody gets to choose their own project. And then once the team's application is approved, you have your contractors complete the project. We can make recommendations if you need help with how to work with contractors. And then once the work is done, we reimburse you for half the cost up to that maximum amount. We've done our best to try and keep it easy and user friendly. And I think we've had some pretty good feedback about that one. And people are excited to do it again. We opened it up for this year in April 1st, and we already have 3 teams that have applied and 2 more just from the Franklin area that are on the way. So that one's been a great way to start and to get interest. Then the next one that I wanted to talk about quickly, because I know we're running short on time, is our homeowner renovation program. So that is kind of the next step up as far as programs go. Again, it's a grant program, so we share the cost of your renovation project at your home. And it's more individual, so you don't have to have team members on your block or other neighbors apply with you. That's just for you and the home that you own. And it can be both exterior and interior renovations. So in some cases, we're helping people with some deferred maintenance things, again, roof replacement or putting on new gutters. And then in other cases, people are reconfiguring their floor plan so that they can add another bathroom. We have one homeowner in the Franklin area that is putting on a 2-story addition to their home, and we are sharing the cost of that. The amount that InvestESM contributes just depends on the total cost of the project, but it's anywhere between 20 and 40%. And we work with you throughout all of that. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I'm trying to think about other things that we've been doing. We've also been working we've got a group of neighbors that's kind of acting as a steering committee for us. We've been working with them on some public art that will be going up on local area businesses soon. So there are some kind of glass mosaic installations that are coming together right now, and there are 4 of those that are going to go up in different places. We also last year helped to fund a mural that's on the side of the Waveland Barbershop. It's on the corner of University and 48th Street. And then we're coordinating with city departments on things like the redesign of Franklin Avenue, installing sidewalks where there are gaps in the sidewalk network, and just trying to make the neighborhood generally more walking and biking friendly. We do also have a commercial grant program for businesses in our special investment district. Again, it's kind of a matching grant, dollar for dollar, up to $25,000. So a variety of opportunities for us to kind of share the cost of upgrading some of the older buildings that we have in the neighborhood. I can put our website in the chat. There's more information there. Of course, it's just investsm.org. And then you can also just email us. It's info@investsm.org. So I'll put both of those in the chat. And we look forward to working with this neighborhood again this year. Our plan is we're really committed to this area for about a 10-year time period. There was a revitalization plan that was put together by city staff and a consulting team along with a group of neighbors. And so that's really kind of our blueprint for the work that we're doing through InvestESM in this area. So any questions?
Amber, Bill Gray, I'm your biggest supporter. I just want to make sure that our Beaverdale neighbors understand that this it encompasses us. I'm across the street from the Waveland Park Neighborhood Association, and all I see is InvestESM signs up there. So we as Beaverdale have not done our share to get this thing going. So let's keep this going. I'm glad we have an opportunity to talk to everybody in this quarterly meeting, but this is great stuff, a lot of money. We can really dress up our neighborhood, and just hope that we can get some people excited about it so we can put some InvestESM signs down in the Beaverdale area. Thank you. Amber, you're best.
And it doesn't just have to be building additions, remodeling. This could be landscape projects, fencing. This is really to beautify a block, a street, your house. Mm-hmm. So, you might need a landscape project you've been wanting to do, something like that, just to get a few neighbors involved in that. So anything helps.
Yep.
And so my wife and I took advantage. Had a property over in Oak Park, Highland Park, and participated in the block grant challenge last year. And I could not overstate how easy it was. Amber's colleague Chris pretty much held our hand and walked us through the whole thing, and it was incredibly smooth. And in the end, I'm happy to say quite lucrative.
Thanks, Jay.
All right. I will say that the mosaics that are coming together are pretty awesome. I think there's going to be one at Snooky's and then a couple at kind of along University Avenue. So keep an eye out for those. They should be coming soon.
Yep.
And then the steering committee also directed some funds for the Waveland Park trolley project. So
Yes.
the project was discussed last time. So there are some funds going toward that from the group. So very
Yes.
exciting.
Thanks, Marcus.
Yep. Any other questions for Amber? All right. Thank you so much, Amber.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
We are at 8:02. So if you want to leave the meeting, that's okay. But I did want to kind of kick it over to Bill Gray, Councilman Gray, in case there are any questions on the Fairway project or the status of that or what comes next in the process.
Thank you, Marcus. Yeah, last night we, in our council meeting, item 50 was to do one of two things with the Plan and Zoning Commission decision. A was to accept it, B was to defer it and bring it back on May 24th so that we could see some other options. So it went through on a 7-0 vote that we're going to continue it until May 24th. Now, what happens here going forward, I just saw some brief stuff before I hopped online here. What's going to happen is that Fairway is going to be presented with a list of conditions that they need to take a look at and either or work for a negotiation or agree to that will make city staff comfortable with their process going forward. As it is right now, I just took a brief look at it. I didn't see anything that was overly constrictive. So as I'm looking at it, we're going to send this over to city legal and say, here's with the conditions that city staff wants. These are some of the conditions that the neighborhood, especially the people on 41st Place, wanted to see. And if they can get that all put together and Fairway agrees to that, then we vote on May 24th to see if we can go ahead and move forward in spite of the Plan and Zoning Commission decision. Where I'm at right now, I'm cautiously optimistic that the conditions that staff has put together don't appear to be overly restrictive. Like I said, I think we've got an opportunity for compromise that's going to work well, not only for we know for the whole Beaverdale community, but for the people that are on 41st Place as well. As long as we can preserve their peace and quiet that they want to have on their street, I think we can really get things going. I've said this for many speeches that this is going to be a game changer for the Beaverdale neighborhood. Having them there to take over that US Bank building is going to be something that's going to anchor the entire Beaverdale business district. So it's there's a lot of positives in there, but that's where we are right now. We have to make sure that the conditions that we put on Fairway are agreeable to them and agreeable to city staff, and that's what we'll be presenting on the 24th. So I'm available to answer any questions that people may have. Come on, can't be that quiet out there. I know I at least see 21 participants.
Any questions for Bill on the fairway?
Hey, Bill, this is Eddie Fishman. How you doing?
Eddie, good to hear from you, buddy.
Yep. Are the conditions that you sent over to fairway, would those be public documents?
Yes, it will be a public document.
But we can see it now, or do we have to wait till the next council meeting?
No, we'll see it before the next council meeting. What we want to do is make sure that both city staff and Fairway have a chance to look at it, and then we'll put it out there for the neighbors to look at. Eddie, good
Okay.
question.
You can shoot that to Marcus so he can get it to the BNA.
Absolutely, I will do that.
Thank you.
Hey, Bill, unrelated, did I also see that you all took another step forward on Whitmer Park?
Absolutely. Jay, you're a sharp guy. You and I share a common interest there because my first house was over there on 33rd Street, just across from Whitmer Park. And that's where my kids grew up and learned how to be in city parks. Yeah, we're putting out a RFP to do the good old Chris Coleman restrooms and the playground equipment. It's going to be quite a bit of money, but I think we got obviously a fine grant from our friends at the county. Thank you, Angela. And so we're going to move forward on that. Hopefully, depends how the bids come out. We should be starting that later this summer.
Brilliant.
Lots of good things happen in the neighborhood, folks.
Yeah. Bill, any other updates from the city that are worth note?
I just sent out the engineering and public works construction schedule. So I see Brent got that posted already. Take a look at that. We got a lot of things going on here that's good in the neighborhood. The big thing that we voted on Monday is the Closes Creek project. We're going to be able to put that retention basin over there on 41st and College. And we're going to start on that. And then we're going to go through that ravine that's behind Coca Drain underneath the Beaver Avenue, and then push, it's going to be in that not only the storm sewer, but we're going to have coverage to take everything from that area down to 34th Street. So you're going to see a lot of construction going on. It was a tune of $6 million. So that's our tax money doing things that are benefiting specifically the Beaverdale neighborhood. So be excited when you see it. We're going to make sure we put signs up. This is exciting times to be in Beaverdale.
All right. There are no
Any other
updates?
questions?
Yeah, any other questions? Otherwise, we'll go ahead and close out the meeting. And I appreciate everyone attending tonight. I hope there's a lot of good information. I see Nancy's hand up. So Nancy?
Bill, do you have any idea when work will start down there at 34th and Urbandale Avenue on that median?
I can find out. Yes, that's supposed to be in this year's construction. The thing we have to make sure is that we're trying to work two things at the same time. There's sidewalk that needs to be put in to the north of Urbandale on there. So we want to make sure we get both sides working on that. I will find that out for you, Nancy, and let you know.
Thank you.
And everybody.
Jean, you have a question?
Yeah, I was just wondering, is the BNA going to have the Bluegrass Festival this summer?
That is a wonderful question. What we're looking at now is we're having conversations with bands to see if they have open dates closer to the fall. So we're trying to see if there's some availability then.
Okay.
So we're probably looking at a fall date instead of the July date. Additionally, we're hoping to have a conversation with the Fall Fest board to kind of figure out what their plan is and how they're approaching the Fall Fest this year, to see if we can kind of coexist within the same time period, to see if we can share some costs. But that conversation hasn't happened yet, so that kind of is still up in the air.
Okay.
Marcus, I've been trying to get on the Fall Festival website, and it appears to be down. Is there any movement on that?
I believe, based on the sidewalk article that I proofed the other week, that they're under construction on a few of their pages.
We're building a new website, Bill, and it's still in the works.
Thank you, Gene. I remember in the past, we would get our reservations for the Fall Festival Parade, usually in April or May. And so just have to sit tight. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, we're 2 years ago when we put the festival on, we had 13 board members. We now have 8. So we lost a lot of people. We're getting a very late start in planning. So we need lots of help.
Well, we did the video. I saw Angela and I were in on that to try and drum up some people to volunteer. So come on,
Yeah.
let's get this. We got to have some volunteers here.
Yes, we do.
Yep.
Thanks, Gene.
Yep.
Any other questions? Otherwise, go ahead and adjourn the meeting. I appreciate everyone for staying a little longer than 8 o'clock. If there's anything else, feel free to reach out through the website, through email, give me a call, whatever you need. All right. Have a good night, everyone.